Welcome to another exciting review of The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And today we're going to be looking at chapter 4 of this book. And chapter 4 tells us how one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, made his money, how he built massive fortune. So chapter 4 is titled Confounding Compounding. $81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's 84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday. Our minds are not built to handle such absurdities. Yes, indeed, our minds are not built to handle this. We're going to be learning about the power of compound interest and why it is also very, very important to start investing early in life. Right. Let me just go straight to the story. There is an analogy here about the ice age and how it has been proven that the earth was predominantly ice. There was evidence to this and all of that. Different theories have come up, but the thing about, let me just take the first few lines. They're very important. Lessons from one field can often teach us something important about unrelated fields. Take the billion-year history of ice ages and what they teach us about growing your money. So like I said, I was just about to relate this to the ice age, where some theorists have come out to say that, okay, the reason why we have winter in the world today is because the earth is predominantly ice, and it depends on how close it is to the sun in a particular year. If the sun is able to melt a lot of ice, if the earth rotates close to the sun and a lot of the ice melts, it is very, very it is more likely that the next year the temperature is going to be high, summer is going to be so hot. But if you have a little ice left in a particular year, that little ice that is left can turn into very cold winter. Something little, and that is what we're learning, how something little can actually become something great over time. And the story of Warren Buffett, teaches us about this. The big takeaway from ice ages is that you don't need tremendous force to create tremendous results. Sometime during our review, we're going to be looking at Atomic Habits, the book that teaches us that most of the big results, big achievements that we experience in life come from the tiny habits that we often overlook, but the habits that we do every day, the compounding effects of these habits over our lives. Right. So to achieve big things in life, you actually don't need something dramatic, something tremendous. If you can pay attention to the tiny habits, the tiny things, your daily occurrences, and all of that, you will see that over time they compound into the kind of results that you want in your life. If something compounds, if a little growth serves as the fuel for future growth, a small starting base can lead to results so extraordinary they seem to defy logic. You cannot even begin to reason it. How is it that, you saved 5,000 rands, South African rands, 5 years ago, and today it has multiplied into 150,000 rands? You really cannot fathom that with your ordinary sense, but that is the power of compound interest. It can be so logic defying that you underestimate what is possible, where growth comes from, and what it can lead to. And so it is with money. Money works in mysterious ways, right? Money grows in magical ways. I learned that from the richest man in Babylon. Money grows in magical ways. Your 10,000 naira today, if you compound it, you'll be shocked at how much it can give you 10 years from now, depending on the interest on the money. And that is why I usually tell people that, not even sometimes, we all need to get used somehow to delayed gratification. The idea of making money now and spending it immediately will get us nowhere. Right. And this is one big thing that we're learning from Warren Buffett. More than 2,000 books. I hope I'm correcting that word rightly. That's the pronunciation that has been in my head all along. So in case I'm not pronouncing it right, Warren Buffett, right? More than 2,000 books are dedicated to how Warren Buffett built his fortune. Many of them are wonderful, but few pay enough attention to the simplest facts. Buffett's fortune isn't due to just being a good investor, but being a good investor since he was literally a child. We are told in this book that he started investing when he was 10 years old. So a lot of people will think that, oh, he became a very good investor. But the truth is that he started very early in his life. And I like what the author said here. He says that, what if he was a more normal person, spending his teens and 20s exploring the world and finding his passion, and by age 30, his net worth was $25,000? What would a typical use of today do? Like somebody said under one of my videos, in the comment section, say, person said, why should I save? What if he's gone tomorrow? Who is going to spend the money that he saves? That as soon as he's making his money, he's spending it. This is the mentality of a lot of people. They spend the money now and they want to gratify themselves. They want to reward themselves immediately. They're not thinking of the future. They don't know the secrets behind compound. Oh, you read it right? Awesome. You don't know the secret behind compound interest. Okay, so I was asking the person, I didn't like in my mind, like, okay, what if you end up living long? Each day you make 10 naira, you spend it. You make 20 naira tomorrow, you spend it. You make 20,000 next tomorrow, you spend it all. How are you building your financial future? I think we should all take lessons from Warren Buffett. He started investing when he was 10 years old. For you, you may be 30, you may be 40, you may be 50 already. You think that, oh, you are old already. Even though hope is not lost for you, you can still do something. It is better late than never. But one other good thing you can do is to make your children start saving and investing early. I want to believe that his parents must have influenced this habit in him as a child from the age of 10, investing his money. Right. Buffett began serious investing when he was 10 years old. By the time he was 30, he had a net worth of $1 million. Or as of 2020, when this book was written, it would have translated into $9.3 million adjusted for inflation. And as I speak to you, Warren Buffett is worth around $147 billion. If he had blown away the money, oh, let me spend it, let me enjoy the money and all of that, his net worth would have been worth 99.9% less than his actual net worth. But we are told here that he did not get a bulk of these billions that we talked about until after his 65th birthday. And here there is a comparison to another man who was actually a better investor than Warren Buffett. So his wealth is not only attributed to his investing acumen, it is also attributed to the fact that he started very early. I'm emphasizing that because there's a big lesson to be picked from it. You start early. If you cannot start early, start big. It means that you have to deny yourself a lot of times so that you can make up for the lost years. And you really have to discipline yourself. If you are very keen about building a very strong financial future for yourself, this other guy that we're reading about here, James Simons, he was the head of the hedge fund Renaissance Technology. He had compounded money at 66% annual interest since 1988. Meanwhile, Warren Buffett only compounded his own money at 22% interest. Look at the difference. James Simons' interest is 3 times that of Warren Buffett. Yes, thank you. Warren Buffett, but James Simons is worth 75% less rich than Buffett, just because James Simons only started investing when he was 50 years old. Again, it brings us back to the issue of age. A lot of us like to say that age is just a number, but we see here that age is not just a number. Your age counts towards something. Imagine you just want to go to primary school when you are 20 years old. How are you going to feel? Are you going to say age is just a number? How are you going to feel sitting down in class with children who are 6, 7, 8 years old, right? Imagine if you want to get married at 60 years old and we say age is just a number. When are you going to start having children? When are you going to enjoy them? Will you be able to carry them around, give them a bath, and all of that? Of course, we would love to, but the energy is not going to be there. So the lesson here is start early as you can. And the second lesson to be emphasized is the power of compound interest. The author gives a very good example here. He says that try and multiply 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Let me look for that page. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. It will 8 in how many places? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Add it up in your head. You can get a straight answer without you thinking too far, because the answer would come to 72. Now let's go to compound interest. Do 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 times 8 in 9 places. The answer is 134,217,728. That is the power of compound interest. In simple terms, compound interest means that you keep your money somewhere. It attracts interest probably every year, for example, and you don't touch the money. You allow both your principal and the interest to keep, rolling over year after year. Let it keep rolling over. Discipline yourself. Not that you want to go for that party, you go and withdraw the money. Can I? I just want to pull out my money. When the money has not yet matured, right? You have to discipline. Let it roll over. Do it for your children as well. In Africa, we have a very good culture, or let me say in Nigeria. When we give birth to a child, we christen that child on the 8th day. We name the child on the 8th day. And people are so generous. Everybody's going to be giving the child money. Oh, take. And if you're a Christian, the pastor will say, oh, this is the first money that this child is getting. Make sure you keep the money for this child. But what will most parents do? They'll spend the money. Probably the money even spent to arrange that naming ceremony was borrowed. Or they've borrowed something, they've not paid the photographer, the drinks, they bought some credits. They will spend that money on all of that. Imagine if we have a change in mentality and you actually keep that money, put it in treasury bill or mutual funds or a real estate investment, something, or use it to purchase something like a piece of land and allow it to just be there until that child is 18. I'm telling you the truth, that money would compound into a very big amount that will blow your mind, because the principal and the interest will keep rolling over and accruing compound interest year in, year out. Just leave it there. Even inflation cannot even catch up with that money. Yes, I strongly believe so. And this is one lesson we should learn from Warren Buffett, right? So many years ago, people never thought about this thing. And even up till now, it is counterintuitive. It is not something that we naturally think about. Our brains cannot carry it. Like, how would my 10,000 naira become 100,000 naira 10 years from now? Your 100,000 naira, yeah? 10 years from now, your brain can most likely not carry it, but it is possible. That is actually possible. You can't blame people for devoting all their efforts in what they learn and what they do to trying to earn the highest investment returns. Imagine Warren Buffett was investing at 22% annually. Yet, as we speak, his net worth is about $147 billion because he was compounding his money. He actually built his wealth from compound interest, and he started very early at the age of 10. Look at his counterpart, Jim Simons. Jim Simons was earning interest at 66%, yet he's 75% less richer than Warren Buffett because he started investing when he was 50 years old. So start early. Encourage your children to start early. Do something for them when they are still young. And no matter your age, it doesn't matter, right? Hope is not lost. Start doing something. That your 1,000 naira that you think that is nothing, it will go a long way. That 500 naira that you spend buying Coke every day, be putting it together. It will go a long way. That is how to start. It is better to start small than to not do anything at all. Today is the 6th of January. You just try something. And by the 31st of December, you are going to be amazed at how much you are able to save. Forget about death. That is inevitable. Don't think like that guy in my comment section that says, oh, what if he died tomorrow? Who's going to eat up his money? There's even this thing that is going around now. Don't leave any money for next of kin. Forget about next of kin. Build your own financial future. Even if you leave, what about your children? The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. It is not just about you alone. What impact are you going to leave on earth, right? I really don't want to drag this too much, but I'll read the last few lines. Good investing isn't necessarily about earning the highest returns, because the highest returns tend to be one-off hits that can be repeated. You want 50% interest and you want it almost immediately. You spend off the money, right? The country is not helping, Doctor. Well, the country has not always been helping. Who sang this song? There's this song that was really circulating. Do you know they've been singing that song since the 60s or the 70s, thereabouts? So in those days, the rich were getting richer, the poor were getting poorer. Even now that everybody is shouting, oh, things are tough, the country is, it is not peculiar to this time. Well, people may be feeling the heat more now, but it is not that. It is really, really, really unique to this time. When things were being sold at very cheap rates, then in those days, in the days of our forefathers, was it everybody that could afford it? No. Was everybody rich? No. Was everybody able to eat 3 square meals? I guess not. So it is all about mentality, right? It is all about mentality and the efforts we are willing to put in, the sacrifices we are willing to make. I'm not invalidating what you said. We are all feeling the heat, right? We all feel it. But I like to think beyond that. I don't even want my life or my finances to be controlled by some people who are sitting somewhere, occupying the seat of power and making some policies that are not favorable. I do not want to. Oh, okay, I'll interpret it. I do not want them to control my life. Somebody said I should interpret the song. It says, the country is hard. There is no money in town. The country is hard. There is no money in town. They've been singing that song. Thank you for telling me to interpret. They've been singing that song since the 60s or the 70s. I can't remember the musician that sang it. But just last year, the song was really raining. People were using it to remind themselves that things have always been tough from time immemorial, right? So it depends on our mentality and how much we're willing to save, to invest. We still have to try, regardless of that. Because if you bring children to this world, they don't understand, oh, the country is out or anything. You still have to feed them. And you too, in your old age, you still want to live a good life, right? You still at least want to be comfortable. 70s, right? I think so. So we'll keep trying. Early and consistent is key in gaining financial stability. Okay. The opposite of this, earning huge returns that can be held on to, leads to some tragic stories. We'll need the next chapter to tell them. So don't forget the takeaway from this chapter 4. Start saving and investing early, especially investing. Let your money yield compound interest and start very, very early. And for your children, the children you're bringing into the world, start for them very, very early. Let them start investing. Teach them, right? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on this review tonight. Please don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me in the comment section below, and please subscribe to this channel in case you're yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. I'll come your way again tomorrow by God's grace, and we're going to be reviewing chapter 5, which is titled Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. Another interesting read, I promise you. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow by God's grace. Until then, be intentional. Bye. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. Thank you so much. Bye.